back on the grown-up quorn again. This is more a discussion about design concepts or design ideas and what I'm going to try and incorporate into this than it is really a build video. I'm going to start working on castings again later today. I've got to start machining the main column casting that slides on here and the spindle mount. So those are probably what I'm going to do next. I still haven't started on the end caps here for the center bar and that type of thing, but all in good time. So first thing I wanted to talk about, got a comment about when I assembled this, how I knew that my vertical column was perpendicular to everything. Within reason. Now I do have a fairly snug sliding fit in here before I epoxy it in place, so I'm very comfortable with the way it sits. Being perpendicular to the bar beds, which is the main concern. The reality is, unless you've got gross misalignment, why it's not an issue. You know, the standard quorn, they call it a universal tool and cutter grinder. The advantages are it's fully adjustable and will do just about anything. The downside to it mainly is that it's slow to set up. So any misalignments can normally be adjusted out of it within reason. Like I say, you can't be, you know, at a 10-degree angle or something, but as long as you're close, the only measurement or the only place that it's really critical to a certain degree, you know, and there again within reason, it's not an issue because you're going to take the time for each different job you're doing. There's going to be a setup and realignment. So you're going to adjust out any misalignment. The only thing that's somewhat critical to it is you don't want it to lean side to side as you're looking at it from the front. If you're looking at it from the side or a slight angle, your spindle in your motor adjusts, tilts back and forth. You have side to side adjustment just by the way it pivots around the center column and everything. So the only thing that's even, in my opinion, fairly critical, and there again, I'm not downplaying the importance, we want it to be as perfect as we can make it. But within reason, every misalignment that may be built into the machine can be adjusted back out of it when you do your initial setups. So hopefully that kind of answers that and doesn't raise too much controversy about guys saying, no, you've got to have this perfect, because I don't believe you do. This blue is going to be the final color. You know, I had it painted gray, didn't really care for that. But so this is going to be the blue. As I rework castings and everything, we'll paint them up to match. I didn't do a high-end finish. You know, my preferred finish is going to be a epoxy primer and then a polyurethane paint over them. It's going to be about the most resistant to damage and that type of thing, chipping and stuff. Powder coat would be very good too. But if we're finishing out castings, adding filler to them and smoothing them up and everything, powder coat's more of a hassle to get that to work properly without doing away with your body filler or something like that you spent time putting in and smoothing and everything. So anyway, there's that. Design consideration wise, and I may be getting ahead of myself, but I try and think all this stuff, you know, a few steps ahead before we even get there, so I can either be ordering materials or making changes if I decide that idea is not the best or anything. Motor wise, I want a 3450 motor. I want highest speed that I can get, potentially. I had a 1/2 horsepower motor sitting here. I don't know the condition of this motor. I have not run it yet. My intent was to put this motor on, or I was thinking about putting this motor on. I feel like it's too big. 1/2 horse is more than it needs, and it's just a big enough motor that I don't really want it. And this was a single phase motor, 110 volt. As I've thought about it, I've changed my thinking on that a little bit. I still want a 3450 degree or 3450 RPM motor. But I found a source for a 1/3 horsepower motor, going to be a little bit smaller and lighter, I hope, and looks like it will fit on here very nicely. It's a 3-phase motor, and a 220 volt 3-phase motor. What I'm going to do with that, or my intent at this time, is to take that 223 phase motor, 3rd horsepower, and I'm going to run it off of a VFD. And I found a 110 volt VFD that will step up to 220 volt, and I think for the versatility that it will give me, why that'll be a really good option. the other reason for that is with the variable speed, I can slow the motor way down, because with a little bit of extra tooling, I think I can make a very nice slow speed diamond grinder for sharpening carbide inserts and that type of thing. The rage here lately is to build slow speed grinders using the little 6-inch, 5 or 6-inch, 7-inch metal discs that are diamond impregnated, which are inexpensive. They're $13–14 a piece when you order them from China, and the guys are using those to resharpen and reform their carbide inserts, so you've got a slow speed grinder. I'd contemplated building a slow speed grinder, and I got to thinking about it, and like I say, with very little tooling, I think I can make this machine do the same thing. So I think that's going to be a good option and keep in line with the universal tool and cutter grinder. So anyway, the only other thing I've got is I was contemplating how I wanted to mount my wheels. The standard quorn wheels are mounted with a dedicated arbor that's got a spigot on it. I've got some here. This is a quorn arbor. It slides in and is held in with a drawbar. And this is just a small diamond wheel. What I've decided to do is I'm going to use the arbors, or set up for the arbors, that fit on the decal clones, the D-bit grinders. This is one from Shars. I brought it in as a pattern. This is for a 1.25-inch arbor. They're tapered on the inside, so when I build my shaft, why, we'll build that taper into the spindle shaft, and then it's held in with a, I believe these are M8 bolt screws, and normally it's a socket head cap screw that just threads in there. So the idea being, these are readily available. They're relatively inexpensive. This was $25, I think, on sale. I think they're normally about $35 now, and I can either purchase these relatively inexpensively, or I can set them up, and we're boring our angles, but we're not having to cut our angles and then thread our drawbar and all that good stuff. So I think this is a good alternative. Plus, down the road, if I ever happen across or feel the need to have a D-bit grinder or a decal, why, then I've got arbors that will fit. So that's my thinking with that. That's what we're going to use for arbors. So that's kind of where we're at with all of this now. And these arbors are, the downside is they're metric, but I mean, that's not that big of an issue. But they're held on with your nut. We've got a washer that goes on, and this is a pretty tight fit on this one. So it goes there. We've got another washer as a spacer for the backside if necessary. Wheel goes on, then our arbor adapter and our nut. So this has kind of become a standard for these small tool and cutter grinders, little D-bit grinders and D-bit clones for the home shop. So that'll add a little more versatility to it right there. So anyway, that's what I've got for you today. We're going to be making some progress on this, as well as a couple other projects. So hopefully you find that a little bit interesting. Comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below, guys. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch.